Greetings, glitter goddesses. Happy Friday. TGIF. TGIF. I'm going to try to finish the baby album today. I'm going to try to finish the baby album today. It's Friday. I'm feeling motivated. It was either that or do my nails, and I wasn't, I didn't want to do my nails, so here we go. So the next thing we need to do is we need 12 6 1/4 by 7 3/4 sheets of pattern paper to go here. So there's already some papers that I pulled out. Now remember, I had to restart the stream, so I recommend, as far as the chat, if you were here before I started, before I became live, before I went live, you may need to pop out, or you may need to refresh your page to see the chat. So, like I can see Deb. Hi all, listening in from work. Don't tell anyone. If you can't see that comment, you should probably refresh, because you and I are looking at different chats. This is just like an idiosyncrasy of YouTube. So, okay, so these pages I specifically cut one, I think, so they would be the right size, so I could definitely use them for this purpose. This one too, this one's a little bit weird because we can't use this bottom portion. So, I'm just going to cut it off. So I'm going to cut all these to 6 1/4 by 7 3/4. And then these as well. And these are gonna line our pockets. And by lining the pockets, that'll just make things go in and out of the pockets more easily. All right, so we have 4 just from the pages that we'd already kind of cut in preparation for doing this. So I need 8 more. And I have some little scraps here that we'll probably use later. All right, so I need 8 more. So let's see, 1, I'm going to try not to repeat unless I have to. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip the chalkboard. Well, no, I'll pull it out, but I'll set it over here. Okay, so I am going to have to repeat because I only have a total of 8 and I need 4 more. So we'll have to have one that's chalk. All right, so I have 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then here's others that we can duplicate. This is the baby album. I'm trying to finish the baby album for my friend. So again, we're cutting all of these to 6 1/4 by 7 3/4. So that's 5. 6. Seven. And 8. All right. So 9, 10, 11, we'll do these twice. And then I guess I'll have to figure out if there's a way I can use this baby. I'll probably just pull the chalk. I'll just probably cut it like this. So that'll be our last 4. Well, that's kind of why I want to do it. Gretchen says finishing 2 albums in 1 week would be exciting. And that's kind of what I was like. I'm feeling so motivated from finishing Half the Fun yesterday. And I thought I could do the Half the Fun final review for both versions. But I really wanted to see if I could also finish the baby album. Because that would be super cool. To be done with that also, because it is a gift for someone else, so I do want to, you know, I do want to get it sent off, especially because she wanted fall shoes, and it's, you know, it's definitely fall. It's definitely fall. So she needs to get her gift card to get her fall shoes. All right, so, oh, that's true. I also missed you terribly because there was no class last night. That's the real reason. That's the real reason, but I don't want it to go to your heads. That's why I didn't tell you. I'm pretending it's about my friend. Oh, it's not her first child. It's like 6 or 7. 5, 6, 7, one of those. I don't know. I have a lot of kids. I have a lot of kids. I have a lot of friends who have a lot of kids. So I'm always a little hazy on how many any one particular friend has. But like I have 4 friends with 4 or more children. And then I have, you know, additional friends with, you know, in the zone of 1 to 3. So, yeah. I mean, if I sit down and really concentrate, I can sometimes think of the names of all of the kids of a particular friend. Like if I see them, you know, I know what their names are and stuff, you know. But it's not like I can hold all of these kids in my mind all the time. I know that probably sounds terrible, but it is what it is. Ellen says that she's been watching videos and planning so she can get some stuff finished for the contest. Yes. Well, so, all 3 of us have baby albums. Mine is like exploding. My sister's is finished, but not exploding, and my brother's is started but not finished. And now later on, you know, my mom did go through and make life albums for all of us, so we each also have an album that goes from birth to college graduation and, you know, covers major life events in the first, you know, 22 years of our lives. So we all do have a life album. And then my brother has a college album specifically because he went to VMI, and there's just always there was so much going on all the time at VMI, and you know, it's a military academy, so there's lots of pictures of people in their uniforms, look, you know, stuff like that. But also VMI has kind of a history of their students scrapbooking, including, you know, some, you know, people who went there who became famous generals and stuff like that. So So yeah, so he has that idiosyncrasy as well. But my sister and I do not have college albums. So now this friend was very determined to make sure each kid, you know, had an album and felt equally important. So, you know, sometimes I make them for her. And if not, she just, you know, finds books and fills them in, like from Hallmark or wherever. So this year she'll have this one done for her. But I think it's kind of up, you know, it depends on the family. I don't even know if people do baby albums anymore at all, or do they just make like Snapfish books, you know? Is Snapfish still around? I don't even know. So this whole book, the idea was it would be assembly line. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to assembly line all of the pocket liners, So I'm going to tape them all, and I'm only taping them on the top and the two sides because they're going, oh, actually, they're going in a pocket, but the pocket they're going in is open on one side. So actually, these should probably be taped all the way around. So let me go back through. Kimberly says, I think that this paper makes it easy, not too overwhelming to fill. I think that's true. And this book's format as well. So the paper makes it easy with the cards. Just fill in the card each month, and then that's all your note taking that you really have to do. And then add just, I think there's a place to put 4 photos per month, which with smartphones, everyone can get to that point where they've got 4 photos, you know. Hi, Antoinette. Hi, Twyla. Hi, Gretchen. Let's say hi to everyone while I'm doing this. Hello to Deb and Kimberly. Ellen, welcome. Susan, hello. And Antoinette, hello again. So yes, I think, you know, I think it also depends on the person. But I think kids like to look through their books. You know, I think there's something really exciting for kids to see a book all about themselves. And so it is nice to have a physical book. You know, I do think that's something that is nice. And this paper collection is Simple Stories, Oh Baby. Hello Baby. So it's designed specifically for baby memory keeping. And so it's got a lot of cards because it's simple stories, and that makes it easy to use. Simple Stories is really great about that. So I've always really, really loved their collections. I think they're very crafter friendly, and memory keeping friendly. I also have an idea for another project. And Simple Stories shared on their Facebook. I don't know if anyone saw it. For their country Christmas collection, someone on their design team had made a stair step box, sort of like a stadium style box where within the box there were dividers and each divided section was higher, and they put it, I think they did like a 12 days of Christmas thing where they had a folding card for each day for memory keeping. I'm sure it's on the Simple Stories blog if you want to see it. And some people were looking for a tutorial. I was looking for a tutorial as well, but Simple Stories responded to those comments saying that Crafter doesn't do tutorials. So they just have the photos. So I was like, I don't know exactly how they made it, but I have some ideas. So I was thinking I would do my best guess for YouTube for free. One of the free series. And maybe I can squeeze out another Christmas project after this baby album. What do you think? I just don't know if I am going to use the Country Christmas or not. I kind of like it. It's cute. So, but I don't want to, you know, maybe I need to look and see if I have any Christmas paper and be good. Since I'm not supposed to be buying it. You know, I'm not supposed to be buying paper in 2019. So I need to be good and go through. I know I'm so ambitious. I need to chill out and not burn myself out. But what can you do? I just have a lot of stuff I want to make right now. That's not always the case, but all right, out of tape. Tape is back in the shop if anyone was waiting for tape to come back in the shop. Yeah, more stash busting. See, I need to use up my stash, so I think I'm going to go through. I've got to have plenty of Christmas paper I can use for this. So I just need to be good and just use what I have. Hi, Flo. I'm trying to finish my friend's baby album if I can. And if I can't, at least I'll make a bunch of progress. Also, regarding the World's Strongest Washi Tape, and remember I had found that tape that people online were saying was a dupe for the purple tape, and we tried it and it ripped a paper yesterday. So, you know, it's not a good replacement for the World's Strongest Washi Tape. Tam says, I don't need to buy any more Christmas paper. I am with you, Tam. I'm sure if I look, maybe we'll do it at the end of this stream. We'll go through my bins and see what I've got for Christmas. You made an Advent one for Christmas, an Advent one. That would be cool. You could do the, I have a couple of Advent calendars if you're looking for easy stuff to make for the challenge for Glitter Party 2019. I do have some Advent calendars as well in the archives. Some easy ones that just search Advent calendar or Christmas countdown in the archives and they'll come up. I've done a few Advent calendars over the years. That was the blue tape that ripped the paper, absolutely. So I never finished that thought, but that thought is I did some more research and I found out there's a product called drafter's tape, which is for sticking plans to drafting tables. And painters use it to tape like watercolor flat to a surface so it doesn't buckle and things of that nature. And so I bought a roll of that to try. So we'll see if that will work for what we wanted to do, which is we wanted to stick things down temporarily and come right back up without ripping anything. Like, that's the goal. So hopefully that'll work. And I found some from a company that donates a chunk of their proceeds to school art programs. So hopefully theirs specifically will work, and I can recommend theirs specifically so that we can, you know, recommend someone who is giving back to the community in that way, which is nice. I'm sure the calendars with the animal photos. Oh, and Twyla says you can get drafting dots, and she uses those. Is that just like round stickers that do the same thing? And then you can just peel them up? So, all right, so regarding N52, you know, N52 is magnets. Jill, who's Mama Tuski in the chat, she found the thin magnets on AliExpress. So let me read you what she said to search for. So okay. So she said they're sold in in millimeters. They're sold in millimeters on AliExpress. So you would search for like N52, and then I'm just gonna look at. Yeah, 10. It's 10 millimeters by 1 millimeter. So you would search N52 10 by 1. And then, so since the issue is our trade war with China, if you look on AliExpress, since that's a Chinese website, you're bypassing the issues with the US companies. Let me just go on AliExpress and just check if N52 10 by 1 works as a search. Yeah. All right. So this is what you would search. N52 10 by 1. That's it on AliExpress, and they have tons. They have tons. Okay, so, you know, this is just what we're going to have to do. Since the United States is out of magnets. Now, you can go down in strength. I used N45 magnets for years. The big difference is in pulling strength. And with the N45 magnets, I found that I had to do magnet to magnet a lot more often than whereas with the N52, I can do magnet to tin cap more often. And because tin caps cost so much less than magnets, it was a cost savings overall to go with N52. So I would use like half as many magnets. But it's not. But if you're just going to use 2 magnets every time, you can also go down to like N45. And I have used N45 in the past, and they're totally fine. Like I said, you just have to use 2 magnets a lot more often instead of using 1 magnet and 1 tin cap. But yeah, Jill texted me. Antoinette, you're in Canada, right? So they're really hard. They're kind of hard to get in Canada. But what they are is they're a roofing tool. So in the US, when you drive a nail into a roof, you drive it through a round piece of tin, and the round piece of tin helps hold the shingle down. They look like this. They're just metal circles, and they're made out of tin, so they're ferrous, so they attract a magnet. We sell them in the shop in packs of 50. If you can't get them where you are, you can check. Try and find them locally if you can, but we've been told by people in Canada before that they are only sold in like huge quantities like you would need if you were an actual roofer. And so they can be hard to come by up there. But if you can find them, they're called tin roofing caps, and they're for holding shingles down on a roof. But we do sell a 50 pack of them in our store for people who can't get them anywhere where they are in a reasonable quantity. And if you're in the US, you can get them at Lowe's. Hi, Jean. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. I want to get this baby album finished if I can. All right, so this is the last one I'm taping or inking. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just choose which ones I'm going to use on which page. And that way, if I have something where I need to move some of them around, they won't be stuck down. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, on this one, I can use this one, but I wouldn't want to use this one because then it would be like tone on musical note on musical note. So I'm just going to stick them just under the magnets a little bit. To hold them in place, and that way if I do get to the end and I need to move some around, I can. All right, so for this one, make sure, notice how there's ribbons, so make sure you put it right side up. You don't want those ribbons upside down. But other than that, I'm not trying to, worry too much about what's going where. So once I've found them all, okay, so here, this is the same pattern. So I don't want that. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to pull this one off, but this is the same pattern. So I don't want that. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to rearrange. So this is why I didn't stick them down. All right. So this one can go here. And then that one can go there. And then we'll put this one here. All right, so that's why I just set them where I wanted them to go before sticking them down, because I want to make sure that, if I need to rearrange them, I don't have to pull them up with the undo. So when you're doing an assembly line album like this, that sort of thing can help, is just kind of putting everything dry where it's going to go. And then, like I said, these are, oh my gosh, these are 6 1/4 by 7 3/4. and they're gonna make the book really colorful and fun, I think. And then we just go through and we keep, you know, putting them in the book. And again, with assembly line crafting like this, you know, you don't overthink. That's the big thing, you know. I just put stuff down where I thought it would look good, and as long as it didn't look bad, then it could stay there. And that's just an easy way to, you know, be really decisive and get a book put together. It's still going to look great, because if you use all paper that you picked because it goes together, then, you know, it'll all go together. It's gonna be such a cute book when it's done. So excited. I received an email regarding this book on, you know, if you wanted to do like a welcome page for when the baby is first born before you get to month 1, how to handle that. And what I would suggest, because I think that's a good idea, is because we're still in this stage where it's not attached to the cover, you can add just a page to this flap, right? So you would just take a piece that's, the pages are 6.5, add 1/4 of an inch for a gutter, so that's 6 3/4, add 1 inch for the flap, so that's 7 3/4. So you take that 7 3/4 inch piece and you score it at 6.5 and 6 3/4, and then you just add it right here. And then you can do a front and back layout on that page for the newborn baby. And then there's something for right when the baby is born. You know, you don't have to wait for month 1 to roll around to start using the book. And that's absolutely a good way to do it. I'm going to put something, just a photo mat in the front cover. Which is another way you could do it if you don't want to do a whole page. But this is very bright and colorful and fun. So, doing great. Doing great. So, Jean's niece had a baby 2 weeks ago. So, perfect timing on this project. Did you get this paper or did you pick something else? Oh, just so happy with this book so far. And really, it hasn't been, you know, too terribly much time to put it together. You know, you could do it in less than a season of television. Less than a season of television. Maybe I'll start measuring things in episodes. How many episodes it would take you. Well, if you don't know anyone having a baby, you can still use this format as a gift album. Like I've said, it would work pretty well. You could do an 8-page one and do school, 1st through 8th grade, instead of, you know, the months. Or you could do 12 pages and do school all the way through high school and make it a graduation album. So that's another thing you could use the format for. Or just any you know, anything serial. Like you could do, you know, all your Halloween costumes through the years, for example. Or you could do things that aren't serial, but where you have a lot of memorabilia. So if you went to a museum or an amusement park or something like that, and you want pockets to put your maps and other souvenirs, or a vacation sort of travel journal, one for each day. All kinds of stuff you can use this sort of serial format for. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these 4x6, 4¼ by 6¼ mats that hold 4x6 photos on the front and the back. And I'm going to stick them in these pockets so that when she gets it, she knows that they're pockets. Now, I know that sounds, you know, whatever, like, but these pockets are staying pretty flat. Like you can see, I'm having trouble getting under them with my nail. So I want it to be obvious that they are pockets, since I won't be there when she gets the book. And then that also tells her, here's something that could go in this pocket. Like if she's like, what do I put in that pocket? You know, now she knows extra photos can go in that pocket. So that's why I stamped these extra photo mats. Jean says she's also making one for her family vacation this summer. Each page is going to be a different place or event that we participated in. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I think the Halloween costume one would be cute because you could show like all the Halloween costumes through the years. Because unless you're throwing a big party every year, you don't always need a whole Halloween album. I mean, I really like Halloween, and we used to throw a big party every year. But we haven't done it since we left Virginia. So, and I mean, we used to decorate every room in our house with different stuff and really go into it. We may get back into that down here, but we just haven't yet. All right. So the fronts are completely finished now of these pages. So now we're on to, we got to finish the backs. And what we have to do is we have to deal with these flaps. And these flaps are 4¼ So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to cut strips of pattern paper, 8½, fold it and hook it over the edge on the top and on the bottom, and then stick the favorite photos on them. So I need to figure out how big those strips need to be. All right, so let me get the calculator. Okay, so the page is 8 inches and the photo mat is 6 1/4. So we have 1 3/4 inches left. So I can just do two 1-inch strips, because if I divide that by 2, it's going to be something, yeah, 7/8. So if we just do two 1-inch strips, then that'll be fine. All right, so we need 24 of those 8.5 by 1-inch strips, and I need to tape the back of all of these. So let me tape these first. And actually what I should do is I should do a recording break so that this is on a separate recording for when people need to go back. So in the next video, I will show you how to do the flaps for this book. And then we'll have at least one more video on the covers and spine. So I'll be back.